Carrie. Today I'm going to attempt to make chocolate espresso tartlets. I had this tartlet at a little French bakery and I just loved them so much that I thought I need to try and make them. So we're going to start with the tartlet crust pastry dough shell. We're going to start with that, and then we will do an almond cream filling. And then on top of that, we're going to attempt to do a chocolate mirror glaze. And then on top of that, we will have an espresso chocolate truffle. So there's a lot of steps. I'm not going to do them all in one day because it's hot and it's late. And so I'm doing my baking late at night. So it doesn't heat up the place anymore. It's already hot in here. So we're going to start the crust right now. And then it needs to chill in the refrigerator for 2 hours. And we will just take it from there. So you'll need a scale. So in my bowl, I have 60 grams of butter and 47 grams of confectioner sugar. So I'm going to cream this together first. So that's being creamed in the background, and then I'm measuring out 112 grams of flour. Now I've added half of an egg and a pinch of salt, and I'm just creaming that together now. So next I'm adding 7 grams of Dutch processed cocoa and 17 grams of almond flour. So I'm just going to mix this. And it just has the paddle attachment on it. So we'll just mix that up, and then we'll add the flour in. Now I just added the flour and I'm mixing to incorporate it. So now I have it mixed, and now I'm just laying out some plastic wrap because we're going to put it on into the plastic wrap and chill it for an hour, about an hour to 2 hours. So we'll just, like I said, I'm just trying it out, so I'm not making a lot. I actually have the recipe. So we'll just put it into the plastic wrap and then flatten out in the plastic wrap so it's more into like a disc. And then pop it in the refrigerator, and it should be good in about 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on your refrigerator and how cool it goes. Mine takes a little while, so it's probably going to be more like 2 hours for me. So we'll do that, and then we will probably start the almond cream next, and then we will go to the truffles. So in my bowl, I have 62 grams of butter. I'm adding a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and then I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of almond flour. And I'll need to get 1 egg, a tablespoon of flour, a 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla, and probably some almond extract next. So I just added an egg. I'm adding a tablespoon of flour. Next will be a 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla. And we're just going to mix it in the mixer all together. You don't have to do it in steps. I'm going to mix it up before I decide if I want to put in some almond extract first, because it's kind of optional. So it says to beat for about 5 minutes. So I have the mixer on with the paddle attachment. It's going to mix for about 5 minutes, and then I'll taste it to see if I need to add some almond extract. So I like the way it tastes just the way it is, so I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to refrigerate that, and it can stay in the refrigerator for even a couple of days if you're not ready to make it. So I'm not sure if I'll probably bake the tarts tonight. So you'll roll out the tart dough and then put it in your little mini tart pans, and then you'll put the almond cream on top, and then you'll bake it all together. So you don't have to bake them separately. I mean, you don't have to bake the tart crust first. So we'll do that probably tonight then. So for the truffles, I have a 1/4 cup of heavy cream in my saucepan and about a teaspoon of espresso powder. You can put in more or less, just depending on how you like it to taste, if you wanted a deeper espresso flavor. So it's up to you. So do this for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then you're going to remove it from the heat and add in 4 ounces of dark chocolate and 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. So my chocolate is melting, and as it's doing that, I'm going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla, and then a half teaspoon of Kahlua. I'm sorry, a half teaspoon of vanilla and a half tablespoon of Kahlua. And we'll just mix that in, and as the chocolate continues to melt, and then once it is, you'll refrigerate this for 4 hours or overnight. I'm going to leave it overnight. Here's the chocolate, so I'm just going to cover it and place it in the refrigerator overnight. I ended up adding a little bit more Kahlua and a little bit more espresso powder. I wanted a deeper coffee flavor, so it'll be to your preference. You can add more, you can add less, it's your choice. So we'll refrigerate this overnight, and then we will make the truffles tomorrow. So here I have the truffle mixture. What I'm gonna do is you have to let it sit at room temperature so they can be shaped into whatever shape you want. I'm trying to do something kind of like a cylinder or oblong shape because it's gonna fit on top of here, and I kind of want it to lay. That's how I had it served. That's how they served it when I had it at the little cafe that I got it at. And then I have a pan lined with some parchment paper, because what we're gonna do is just make the shape, roll it in cocoa powder, put it on the pan, and then refrigerate it. When you do serve them, you want them served at room temperature because they get pretty solid. So right now I'm kind of shaping them into like an oblong shape. I'm gonna roll it in cocoa powder and then just put it onto here. As simple as that. So I will finish kind of rolling them into some sort of shape that I want. Like I said, just kind of an oblong shape. I'm not real good at this, so just kind of doing that. And then put it onto the cookie sheet, and then I will start baking the tarts, the shell with the almond cream next. And then the last step will be the mirror glaze, the chocolate mirror glaze. So now I just floured my surface, and I've been rolling out the dough for the tart pan for the crust. So I'll do that and then cut it in to fit my little tart pans, and then just press it into the pan. I'm hoping to get 4 out of these, but we'll see. So I'm getting 5 out of this dough. So I'm just pressing it into the pan. And then I'll put them in the refrigerator for a little while. I'm not ready to bake anyways, but I think everything that I've read on these types of tart crust, they say to refrigerate it for about 30 minutes. So we'll do that. And then before we bake it, we'll fill it with almond cream. And then we'll bake it, I think it's about 30 minutes. So got 5 out of them, so that's pretty good. So I'm getting ready to bake the tart shells, and I have the oven at 350. And what we're going to do is poke some holes into the bottom of the shells before I add the almond cream. And then we're going to bake it for about 25 to 30 minutes, just until it gets baked through and browned. And then we'll put them to cool as we make the mirror glaze to top them with. Just put, see, the almond cream goes in here, a nice layer. And then bake them for 25 to 30 minutes. So I just took them out of the oven. They took 30 minutes, and so they're just nice and lightly browned on top. And now I'm just going to let them cool on the pan on a rack, and then we will take them out and put them in the refrigerator. So I'm going to start the mirror glaze, and I got these sheets of gelatin specifically for this, since it calls for leaf gelatin sheets. I found this on Amazon, and they had great reviews, so I'm going to try it out. It says 8 grams, and I put this on my scale, and it came out to about 4 sheets. So we're going to soak these, I think it said about 10 minutes in 5 ounces of water. So I'm going to start that first. So I took them out of their little pans. They popped right out. They were very easy. So now you can see, there's the shell. And so I'm going to continue cooling them, and then I'll put them in the refrigerator to cool even more. So for the mirror glaze, I have in a saucepan 3 ounces of cocoa powder, 9 ounces of granulated sugar, 3 ounces of heavy cream, 5 ounces of water, and 9 ounces of sugar. So now I'm going to put it onto a burner and get that boiling, get the sugar all dissolved, and then I will turn off the heat and add 2 ounces of dark chocolate. So now the gelatin is mixed in. Now I'm going to strain this into a bowl. So I will do that next. So I've strained it into the bowl, and now it says to cool to room temperature before you put it onto anything. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll get the tarts out of the refrigerator and I will put it on the tarts. So I got it to a boil and then I turned off the heat. I was stirring it constantly. Now I'm going to add in the dark chocolate, and then once that's melted, I'm going to add in my gelatin. It's in this bowl, and I will just strain it and add it in. So I'll do that next. And here they are. The truffles are on top. And I am going to put them back in the refrigerator now. And then when I'm ready to try one, I will take it out and let it get to room temperature. So I'm going to try it now. Hopefully it tastes just as good as what I had the other day. So it's probably a little bit firm, a little bit, maybe I didn't have it out long enough, but I'm looking at the inside and it looks just like what I had before. The taste is pretty much spot on. I wondered what was inside the tart because it wouldn't tell me, but this is exactly what it was. And the tart shell is a little harder and not as soft as the one I had, but I also heard that the next day it turned softer, so maybe that's all it is because I didn't give it a day after it's been baked. It's super good. I like the taste of it because it's not overly sweet. Let me try and take a picture or turn it around so you can see what it looks like inside. The flavors work really well together. Definitely a lot of steps, but it's definitely a dessert. As long as you can get your truffles to the better shape than this, definitely something you'd want to do for like a dinner party. It's a great presentation. I'll include the recipes in the details.